Hey everyone, today we're going to get into the best tabletop RPG for beginners. Now you elites, y'all already know. You're looking at the thumbnail, looking at the title, and going, wait a minute. Number one, how does any one of those have to do with one another? Oh, I'm watching RPG Elite. Nah, he's going to get there eventually. Now, for those of you who are returnees, maybe once or twice, or brand new to the channel, first, I want to welcome you to RPG Elite. This is the place where we put the RP back into RPG. How do we do that? Well, we give you tools, we give you tips, tutorials. We have some real talk, deep discussion about the tabletop RPG community and culture. And also, we do deep dives into these classic tabletop RPGs. And I come out with videos every Tuesday and Friday. And I do all of this for you so that you can have a more immersive and enjoyable tabletop RPG experience. Now today, I'm going to approach this in a way that you don't expect. I do this not to do it to kind of throw you for a loop, but this is how I look at it. So you're going to expect something, and then I'm going to give you something else. So I'm just going to kind of give you a heads up before we get into this. It's probably not going to be what you expect. For you people who are new to tabletop RPGs, you guys are probably going to get this, what I'm talking about. And for those of you who've been in it for a minute, let's get together and talk about what the best tabletop RPG for beginners is. Yeah, I told you I wasn't approaching this from the way that you thought I was going to approach it. The absolute best tabletop RPG for beginners is the one that aligns with their likes and interest, period. That is the best tabletop RPG for them, bar none. See, but the problem that we have in the tabletop RPG community and culture is this. You get somebody who's new, they're a beginner, and they show a little bit of interest in tabletop RPGs. And so you know what happens? You got people railroading them into a game that they play and not trying to find out their interest or their likes. They have no regard for these people in terms of what is important to them or what interests them. None at all. They just railroad him. Chug, 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 come on through. Be a part of the collective and do what everybody else is doing. Do what I'm doing, at least. See, the tabletop RPG community is notorious for doing this. Notorious. I've seen it done many times. I've never done it in my life. In the almost 40 years that I've been playing tabletop RPGs, I have never, ever done that to somebody who is a new player. I haven't done it. I don't think that's good for them. And I don't think that's good for the tabletop RPG community. Listen, if we want tabletop RPG recidivism, I guess, to be low, right? In terms of people making a mad exodus from the tabletop RPG hobby because somebody railroaded them into a game. And normally that game is the one that I refuse to mention by name on this channel. People just railroading people into it. Oh yeah, come ahead and play this. Oh yeah, well, come ahead and play this. And they ain't asked the question nowhere. See, because the problem is mindset. Because listen, most people are self-absorbed, self-serving, and narcissistic. This is not just in the tabletop RPG community. I'm talking about across the board in humanity. You have to switch your mindset. Leets, y'all know I talk about mindset constantly on this channel. You have to switch your mindset and go from one to trying to serve you to trying to serve them. To actually try to put them in the spotlight and really find out what it is that they are interested in. To actually care about what they're interested in. See, for some people, that's totally foreign. They don't even know how to do that. That's another video, by the way. Total other video. Let me give you an example. Great example of this. So, earlier this year, the channel had witnessed some growth, a little bit of growth. And during that time, there were other people, they were coming through and they were subscribing. And there was a guy who has his own YouTube channel, and he gets into the game that I refuse to mention by name on this channel. And he had made a video for me. It was towards me. And I forgot how I even stumbled upon it. But I was like, oh, okay, well, let me go ahead and watch this. And so I'm going to make a long story short. In the video, he started saying, well, you know, he's talking to his viewers. He was like, yeah, you got this guy, he's got this channel, new guy, you know, he's articulate, he's intelligent, and okay. So once I started hearing like all these accolades, I'm waiting for a but, right? So I'm watching the video on my phone going, okay, but what? And it came. It was this. The nutshell, the gist of the video was like, well, he covers, you know, these classic tabletop RPGs. But in this video, I want to talk about, and I'm just talking, that this is where he was actually talking to me. And this is what he said. He said, I want to talk about why you should cover the game that I refuse to mention by name on this channel. I should cover that? Why should I cover that? See, and I'm going to be honest. I got to that point and I shut the video off. Shut it off. Because I was going to respond to it because I didn't need to hear any more at that point. But see, and I don't know the guy. I'm not saying he's an evil dude or anything like that. I'm just saying he's programmed. He's programmed. I don't need or should cover what everybody else is doing because everybody else is doing it. Forget that. See, I look at this as a calling on my life from God. Therefore, I need to go in that direction. So I was going to tell him that. However, the video got taken down. Now, I suspect the video got taken down because there was a whole bunch of people down in the comments that were saying, well, maybe he doesn't want to do that. Maybe he's just going in this direction because that's what he wants to do. And I think that there may have been too many of them. And so when I went back, because I was going to, you know, put a link, I was getting ready to get, you know, respond to the video, and it was gone. But this is what I'm talking about. I just got on YouTube, hadn't been on there for 6 months. And all of a sudden, somebody is telling me I should play a certain game. Now, wait a minute. How about, hey, just want to welcome you to YouTube, offer you some encouragement. I know you're doing something different. Keep doing what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. Or even at least ask me the question why. Right? But see, not interested. And this is, oh my goodness. People are notorious in the RPG community for doing just this. I want to railroad you into the collective. I want you to be a part of the collective. Now forget that, dude. So stop doing that to new players. Start serving them. Start caring about their likes and their interests, because that is the absolute best tabletop RPG for them. Period. However, there are some other things that we have to consider with this best tabletop RPG. So let's look at the next point. Now, you think that this would go without saying. However, when it comes to creating your characters, some systems just aren't really good at having enough options for people to create the character that they have in their minds. Now, it's going to be different for every beginning individual. Some people will have an idea and some people won't have any idea at all, or they just have a little bit of, well, I've got this kind of like a rough outline of whatever the character, but whatever level that they're at, it should be able to, whatever system that you're going to use should be able to bring that to life. It should be able to support their likes and interests, their imagination should be able to support it, or at least get close enough to it. Or if the system itself, if you're looking through the system, it should spark the imagination to go to places that you really didn't think about in creating your character. How many times have you done that? right? You get into a new game or whatever, and you start doing something and you look and you're going, oh, shoot, what's this button do? You know, and you start looking at that and going, oh, maybe I want to add that to my character. And they start taking shape that's a little bit different, but still part of your imagination. A system should support that. A system should be able to do that. Again, at least get as close enough to it as you possibly can. So that's the second thing. But there's one last one that's important as well for beginners. Simple means that it's easy to understand, easy to play, easy to grasp. Simplistic is saying that something is simple when it's actually complex, and we don't want that. It's not simplistic. Systems that have complex subsystems are fine, but we want the main foundation, the main mechanic, we want that to be simple, right? Because there's a million things that can happen in a tabletop RPG. There are small little subsystems and mechanics that can be a little complex, but we don't want to start them off there, right? We just need the main foundational mechanic, the main system to be simple. Now, I'm not going to leave you there, right? I'm not going to leave it there because those are the three most important things. Let's go over them real quick. Number one, the most important and the best tabletop RPG for a beginner is the one that aligns with their likes and interests, period. It's the one that allows them to create the character that they have in their mind or getting real close to it. And it's the one that has a system that's simple, but not simplistic. So you're probably saying, Servant, okay, what's up? I get it. I get what you're saying. How is that helping me? I'll help you out. I'm not going to leave you hanging. Okay. Here are three, and they're games, but they're not genre specific. They're just systems. And these are the three that I think are the best for beginners, the absolute best. So let's break it down. And I'm going to break this down from the least to the best. So let's break it down with number 3. Savage Worlds is a simple system if you are a vet. And it is also a simple system for a beginner. But the reason why it's at the bottom of this is because of the multiple kinds of dice that you actually need for this system. You need everything from a D4 all the way up to a D12. And I think you even need a D20 in some cases. Maybe not. I might be wrong on that. But I know for at least you need D4, D6, D8, D10, D12. Okay. I've been in situations where a brand new player comes to the table and they don't even know what they're grabbing. Be like, okay, grab a die 20, and they grab a die 12. Be like, no. That's not a die 20. That's a die 12. Grab, it can be confusing for a beginner. So because of all those dice, that is why it's at the bottom of the pile. Now, the system itself is actually really simple, right? You roll 1 for your trait, 1 for your wild card. Target number is normally 4. Boom. That's about as simple as it gets, y'all. That's why it's part of this list, because the system is simple. But for a beginner, now I know we got some fanboys out there who are going to be like, oh no, Savage Worlds is the greatest. Okay, it's the greatest for you, but I'm doing this for beginners. Again, you want to serve people, and I'm doing this for beginners. For beginners, it's at the bottom of the pile here. You can still start them off with that. I'm not saying don't do it. You just might have to help them out a little bit more. But once they get past that, the system itself is simple. It's very simple. Let's get to number 2. The Cypher system. I'm in love. It is, in my estimation here, the best out of the 3 that I'm listing. Okay. However, I'm putting it at number 2. See, I'm trying to be objective here. I'm putting it at number 2. Now you need a die 20. Might need a die 6 in some cases, but that's it, right? That's all you got. You got 3 basic abilities. But when it comes to character creation, my goodness, it just goes through the roof. You know, when you got your different types, you got your descriptors, you got your foci or focuses, however you want to say it. I am telling you, you are going to be able to create the character you want to create, bar none. It's great with that. And it's also simple in other regards, especially in how you do things with effort and edge. I'm telling y'all, this is great. This is a very simple system. You know, light, medium, and heavy weapons always do the same kind of damage. It's simple in that regard and so robust, so robust. Let me go back real quick. When I'm talking about a simple system, I also want to talk about a system that people can grow into. That's another thing about Savage Worlds, that it meets that qualification as well. These systems are systems that you can grow into. And all three of these systems are not genre specific. You can put any genre into them. That's why it's the best for a beginner. And Cypher is in the number 2 slot, but I'm telling you, it is a beautiful system. If you've never heard of the game called Numenera, which I'm sure you have, that game is off the chain. Another thing too, like if you pull out a book of Numenera and you set it down in front of a new player, they're probably gonna be intimidated. You're talking about tomes, 400 to 600 pages, y'all. It's like, oh shoot, do I have to remember all that? That's probably what's going through their head, right? It's a beautiful game though. Beautiful game. And the system now is out as a system, the Cypher system. So that system right there, that'll do you. If you want to go in that direction because you like that system, go ahead and do it. You can go ahead to their website and download the quick start guide, and that's free. And you can give that to them maybe after session 1 or 2. They can get more familiar with how things work, but that is a fantastic system. Loving it. I love that system. But there's one more. And when it comes to beginners, I think this is probably the best system. Modern Age. Now, let me give you a story. My wife, who doesn't know anything about tabletop RPGs, she has just recently become very interested in playing a tabletop RPG. So I'm going to run her and one of my vets, and they're just small mini campaign. Now, when I was looking at what I was going to run them in, the first thing I thought of was, well, what is my wife like? Because listen, now I'm in a special situation here. She's my wife. Known her for 25 years. Don't really need to ask her what she likes, all right? Been with her for 25 years. We watch movies together. We do all the rest of it. I already know, all right? Already know. Now I was looking for something that was going to be simple for her to grasp. And the reason why Modern Age fit that bill rather nicely is, number one, it's a 6-sided system. Everybody on the planet knows 6-sided dice. Board games have 6-sided dice. She loves Yahtzee. She knows 6-sided dice. Simple. Very simple. All right. Now you have a system that you can grow into as well with things like the stunt die. Man, I'm telling you, there are a million different stunts that you can do once you, oh man, it's so cool. It's something you can grow into. You don't have to do all of them. There's some basic ones, but basically what you do is normally you roll 2 dice and a stunt die. That's it. It's very simple. And so that's the system that I chose to run for my wife and my friend who's going to be joining us. That's the system. I could have went with Cypher because I like it, but again, mindset. I'm looking to serve the person who I know rather well. I know my boy, Tom, he wouldn't have cared what system it was. He's run with Cypher with me, and me and him are on agreement on that. We both think it's lovely, and we both love it. But when it came to my wife, I wanted to start her off with something simpler because she's brand spanking new. And it worked. We're going to have our first session here soon, and we made up our characters, and it was simple for her. She got right into it. She was in it, all in. So that's what I'm talking about. So here we are, 3 that you should try. Whichever one you want to try. Savage Worlds, the Cypher system, and Modern Age. Take a look at them now. I think Modern Age also has like a quick start system as well. You can go to their website. I think it's Green Ronin Publishing, or is that? Yes, it's Green Ronin Publishing for Modern Age. It's Monty Cook Games for Cypher system, and it's Pinnacle Entertainment for Savage Worlds. So you can go to their websites. Now, Pinnacle Entertainment does not have a quick start. Just be aware, they got some free stuff, but it's not a quick start. But Cypher system and Modern Age do. Another reason why they go to the top. So if you are looking at any of these systems and you have some new players that you want to introduce to them, all three of them are in links in the description below. Grab a PDF, digital copy, or go ahead and grab yourself a hardback copy. Either way you go, you can't go wrong with any of these systems. Now, here is the question of the vid. I know you're waiting for it, y'all. I know you're waiting for it. Out of these three, it's kind of a dual question. Okay. For those of you who are familiar with these systems, right, and have played them. All right, because I've been in all three and I've played all three. All right. Which one would you introduce a beginning player to? Now, if you're not familiar with the system, then which one sounds good to you to introduce to a new player? Go ahead, let me know in the comments below. And if you have to do a little bit of research, at least you can go and get those quick start guys, like I said, and kind of mess with them and then come back and comment. Do your due diligence. All right, folks. That's it. If you like this video, go ahead, crush the like button. And also, if you liked what you see here, if you did like what you see here, consider subscribing. Hit the subscribe button and also hit that notification bell. Now, if you got a game this week, then I hope that it is an RPG Elite session. Happy gaming, y'all. Now, brother, me, I got videos to make, y'all. My brother has just got to.
So exit, stage left.
Oh, peace. 5,000 leets. Audi.